The great city is a motif, and depending on the context, the great city could refer to Jerusalem, or it could refer to Babylon the Great, or even other cities. And in the current context of what we're reading in the text, the great city has to be referring to Babylon the Great. And since we've already determined that Babylon the Great is used symbolically rather than literally, there hasn't been a Babylonian city proper or empire since its demise by Cyrus the Great of Medo-Persia in 539 BC, we then must infer that Babylon the Great is a reference to a rebellious humanity against God, just as it always has been in a symbolic and literal sense. But there is something that's interesting about the land which lie in ruins today, is that before his demise, Saddam Hussein had invested millions of dollars in rebuilding Babylon because he really thought he was a reincarnated Nebuchadnezzar. And you can spend all kinds of money in rebuilding the entire thing. It's still going to be uninhabitable and it's still going to lie in ruin. Why? There remains a divine decree from God that Babylon will never be rebuilt or inhabited again, according to Isaiah 13:20. Babylon the Great represents symbolically civilized man in organized community, but man ordering his own affairs apart from God, just like they did at the Tower of Babel. God told Noah and his descendants after they got off the boat to be fruitful and multiply and to subdue the earth, meaning spread out all over the earth. But instead of obeying God, they chose to do the opposite. They chose instead to stay together in a land called Shinar, Proto-Babylon, to build a name for themselves by building a tower that reached into the heavens so that they could be gods unto themselves. It symbolizes the pride of human achievement, the godlessness of those who put their trust in men. That's Babylon. The great city is now shattered here, divided into three parts as a sign of complete collapse. And with it, the cities of the nations fall. Babylon the Great now receives God's full and final judgment. When we say Babylon the Great, we're talking about the world that is in rebellion against God. And by world, I mean all of its institutions, all of its people together. That's Babylon the Great. And so they will receive God's full and final judgment. So, and he remembers her, Babylon the Great. He remembers her and gives her the cup filled with the wine of his fierce wrath. The language could not be stronger. Organized humanity in rebellion against God faces the undiluted opposition of the all-powerful and all-holy God, the almighty and powerful God. Islands disappear, mountains are leveled, and massive hailstones, each weighing about 100 pounds, fall from the sky. This is more than political collapse here. It is a catastrophic undoing of a rebellious world who rejects God. Yet even in their final moments, under the weight of God's wrath, unrepentant humanity's last recorded act is to curse God even more.